And today we're joined by the founders of Vezt. Is that how you say it? Vezt?
Correct.
Correct. All right, cool. Vezt.
VEZT.
Vezt. All right, cool. So they'll be joining us today for the next hour to go through their upcoming project and their token sale. So this is going out to both YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, and will also be turned into a podcast. I'll be taking questions via YouTube. So let's give it a few minutes for people to join the live stream, and then we'll start.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Hey, what's up, Seth? What's up, Junie? Fode, Joserd, Antonio, DSO Mall. Thanks for joining, guys. Welcome to the live stream. Hey, what's up, Somview, Crypto Space Media. Looking forward to this live stream. Yeah, Bitcoin is definitely on a bull run. Yeah, hit 7K. Hello from Nigeria. Thanks for joining us. Hey, what's up, Sam? Hi, everyone. All right, so let's start things off. So, welcome, guys, to the show. Thanks for being here. Thank you for your time. So, tell us about what you guys, I guess, how did you guys first get into blockchain before we talk about the project? How did you guys get into blockchain?
Certainly. So we'll start with a little bit of the history of how Steve and I met. I co-founded a company called Circus, and we were basically Uber for people. It's an app based in Los Angeles, and we were looking to expand into concert venues, how to invite people to attend concerts. I met Steve in the office there, and very quickly, being a music fan, I inquired as to why Steve wasn't in the music business anymore. And we started discussing where the music industry is broken. Very quickly, in the course of that conversation, realized that the issues aren't on streaming and on deployment of music, but it's more on the way that music is financed and the gatekeepers of that financing and how that's managed. So very quickly we came together with this idea and this concept that has become Vezt as a way to remove gatekeepers and put fans and artists together in a democratized platform. And I'll let Steve speak a little bit about his background in the music industry, and then if you like, I can tell you my full background, and then we can share kind of how we discovered blockchain and why we were building this before we even began to look at doing a coin offering.
All right.
Yeah, I managed a band called Stone Temple Pilots back in the 90s. Got them their first record deal on Atlantic Records. We made 5 records together. We sold units over a 10-year period. We toured the world. I managed another 20 artists in that interim. Signed to pretty much every major record label, every major publishing company. So I had a decent background and understanding of how music worked on the business side, how the financing of it worked, and where it was really broken. As Robert mentioned, his background in finance and my background in music were the perfect marriage for this app, because we understand really what's needed in the music industry isn't so much the distribution side or the streaming side or the download side. There's plenty of Spotify's and iTunes and Pandora's. What happened to be needed was the genesis part, the creation part. How does an artist put food on the table? How do they earn money doing what they do, making music? I mean, how do I collect money enough to survive and to better their career and to actually be able to make more music from the resources that they have? So we came up with this app called Vezt, which allows artists to put up slices, very small slices of their song. It doesn't have to be their full catalog or even an album or even a song. It could be a very small piece of a song, down to 1%, and put that up for sale to their fans, to investors, to brands, to music professionals, anybody else that was interested in becoming a partner with the artist. The genesis part, the creation part. How does an artist put food on the table? How do they earn money doing what they do, making music? I mean, how do I collect money enough to survive and to better their career and to actually be able to make more music from the resources that they have? So we came up with this app called Vezt, which allows artists to put up slices, very small slices of their song. It doesn't have to be their full catalog or even an album or even a song. It could be a very small piece of a song, down to 1%, and put that up for sale to their fans, to investors, to brands, to music professionals, anybody else that was interested in becoming a partner with the artist.
The show where we teach you how to make 6 figures in your 20s, and also mainly through cryptocurrency investing. And today, the show where we teach you how to make 6 figures in your 20s, and also mainly through cryptocurrency investing. And today we're joined by the founders of Vezt. Is that how you say it? Vezt?
Correct.
All right, cool. Vezt.
V-E-Z-T.
Vezt. All right, cool. So they'll be joining us today for the next hour to go through their upcoming project and their token sale. So this is going out to both YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, and will also be turned into a podcast. I'll be taking questions via YouTube. So let's give it a few minutes for people to join the live stream, and then we'll start.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I'm just going to send out an alert here to let people know we're live. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Hey, what's up? What's up, Junie? For Day, Joserd, Antonio, DSO Mall. Thanks for joining, guys. Welcome to the live stream. Hey, what's up, Som Yu, Crypto Space Media. Looking forward to this live stream. Yeah, Bitcoin is definitely on a bull run. Yeah, hit 7K. Hello from Nigeria. Thanks for joining us. Hey, what's up, Sam? Hi, everyone. All right, so let's start things off. So welcome, guys, to the show. Thanks for being here. Thank you for your time. So tell us about what you guys, I guess, how did you guys first get into blockchain before we talk about the project? How did you guys get into blockchain?
Certainly. So we'll start with a little bit of the history of how Steve and I met. I co-founded a company called Circus, and we were basically Uber for people. It's an app based in Los Angeles. And we were looking to expand into concert venues, how to invite people to attend concerts. I met Steve in the office there, and very quickly, being a music fan, I inquired as to why Steve wasn't in the music business anymore. And we started discussing where the music industry is broken. Very quickly, in the course of that conversation, realized that the issues aren't on streaming and on deployment of music, but it's more on the way that music is financed and the gatekeepers of that financing and how that's managed. So very quickly we came together with this idea and this concept that has become Vezt as a way to remove gatekeepers and put fans and artists together in a democratized platform. And I'll let Steve speak a little bit about his background in the music industry, and then if you like, I can tell you my full background, and then we can share kind of how we discovered blockchain and why we were building this before we even began to look at doing a coin offering.
All right.
Yeah, I managed a band called Stone Temple Pilots back in the 90s. Got them the first record deal on Atlantic Records. We made 5 records together. We sold units over a 10-year period. We toured the world. I managed another 20 artists in that interim. Signed to pretty much every major record label, every major publishing company. So I had a decent background and understanding of how music worked on the business side, how the financing of it worked, and where it was really broken. As Robert mentioned, his background in finance and my background in music were the perfect marriage for this app, because we understand really what's needed in the music industry isn't so much the distribution side or the streaming side or the download side. There's plenty of Spotify's and iTunes and Pandora's. What happened to be needed was the genesis part, the creation part. How does an artist put food on the table? How do they earn money doing what they do, making music? I mean, how do I collect money enough to survive and to better their career and to actually be able to make more music from the resources that they have? So we came up with this app called Vezt, which allows artists to put up slices, very small slices of their song. It doesn't have to be their full catalog or even an album or even a song. It could be a very small piece of a song, down to 1%, and put that up for sale to their fans, to investors, to brands, to music professionals, anybody else that was interested in becoming a partner with the artist in the earnings on that IP. And on the other side, for a fan, it's something that allows someone to buy a piece of their favorite song. And we thought that proposition was very compelling. So if someone said, hey, what's your favorite song? What was your first song that you kissed to? What's the first song you grew up with? What's the song that you met your husband or wife with? Those songs have an emotional connection to all of us. And to have a piece of that song, just to own even a small fraction of that song, and know that every time it's being played somewhere and you hear it, you're participating in the earnings with the artist. We thought that was a very compelling statement and a very strong platform that we could build upon.
All right, very interesting, very interesting. All right, guys, so actually, before we start, let me just make this disclaimer. So this is definitely not financial advice. Definitely do your own research when investing in token sales. Definitely make sure they apply to your laws and jurisdiction, and make sure they're on securities. With that being said, right now, this is just me bringing them on to have them share their story, right? My own personal opinion is I'm bullish on this project. Actually, this is my second, I think it's the second biggest project, or biggest ICO, or best ICO for this month, right? So I'm very, very bullish. Although I do have some concerns, which we'll discuss down the road, right? But for now, I think this is a great idea, especially what you guys are trying to do. I think it's disruptive, very disruptive in the music space.
Thank you.
With people
Thank you. Thanks, Ian.
with artists really having the ability to monetize and make money, right, with their art. And also having their fans also invest in what they're trying to do. All right, so with that being said, can you kind of talk about what Vezt is for somebody who hasn't heard about it for the first time?
Sure. I mean, we're happy to share what we're trying to build. We're trying to bring a democratized financing model to the table for artists and those who create the IP, right? So that would be the producers, the writers, the people that share in the creation of that intellectual property. If you look at any other business, you look at Apple. Apple has a value because they create intellectual property at Apple, and then that is sold out to the public. Music is disenfranchised in the fact that all of the content, all of the hit songs, all of the things that you like aren't created by Sony per se. They're created by Kanye. They're created by Dr. Dre, Guns N' Roses. These are the creators of the IP, yet they participate in a smaller slice than most people will ever even know. And the people around that creation participate in an even smaller piece. And they're also at the mercy of the bank, so to speak. Whoever is placing money into those projects tomorrow could decide, you know what, we're not into that type of hip hop. We're not into that type of rock and roll. Even though there may be a fan base, which is proven to exist, these bands still tour that would love to hear that music, that would love to hear that band continue to make music or share the music that they already have. So why are there gatekeepers in 2017 when I can buy anything online, have it delivered online, directly from anybody for very little cost? Why is music still a product that needs to be controlled by a centralized system? So in that thought process, Steve and I were building this to democratize that market.
And there's a lot of inefficiencies in the market, as you may or may not know, Ian. There's what's called performing rights organizations. They're in about 140 countries around the world, and they collect all the licensing income for performances of any music anywhere around the world. But what most people don't understand is that collection mechanism has been in place for 50 to 60 years, but it's still very inaccurate. They hold your money for 8 to 12 months, and there's very big problems with registration as far as IP goes. If your song is not registered properly, i.e. your name is spelled wrong or the song title has a word that's missing, that money never gets to you. And to audit those companies and in 140 countries around the world is a nightmare. So what we're building to is a place where that doesn't have to exist, where there's transparency, where there's real-time payment, because we know now when something streams in Berlin or Tanzania or Buenos Aires, we know the minute it streams, and we know what the value of that stream should be. So there's no reason the artist shouldn't see that revenue in real time immediately. There's no reason to wait 8 to 12 months to have some company hold on to that money and then maybe disperse it out to you a year later. So that isn't something that we could do today, but we're building towards that, and that's our plan for the future. That is very disruptive.
All right, so one of the things that I really liked about what you guys are doing is you're also creating a secondary marketplace with initial song offerings, I believe it's called, right? ISO.
Correct.
All right, so can you speak about that and how people can invest in their favorite song and basically earn money from that?
Sure. I'll let Steve start since I started the last two, and then I'll hop in at the end. But go ahead.
No worries. So we came up with an initial song offering that kind of mirrors IPO, ICO, but the idea was to give a sense of urgency and a specific date and time for a launch of a song. So if someone wanted to put up a piece of their song, we want to let them basically optimize their social media, their promotion, their marketing efforts, so they can focus on one. No worries. So we came up with an initial song offering that kind of mirrors IPO, ICO, but the idea was to give a sense of urgency and a specific date and time for a launch of a song. So if someone wanted to put up a piece of their song, we want to let them basically optimize their social media, their promotion, their marketing efforts, so they can focus on one point in time. It's like if Beyonce put up a concert that was going up next month, and she said tickets go on sale Monday at 10 o'clock. Right? If you're a big Beyonce fan, you're going to be in line, ready with the phone, ready on your computer to buy those tickets as quickly as possible because they will sell out in a very short time frame. What we're doing is bringing this excitement back to music so that an artist, especially an established artist, can say to their 2 or 10 million fans, I'm going to put up 10% of my song Tuesday at noon. And the first people that get there will get a piece of that song. If you get there too late, the song will sell out and it's over. So we're bringing back urgency and demand and a sense that you can efficiently market and promote to a specific time to get that song really up and out there, make it very popular.
Yeah, and the most interesting thing about all of this is that we're allowing artists to monetize this process based a lot on their social media component, their interaction with the fans directly. So the app will push out through their social media, and let's say you have 1 million followers on all your combination. Between 5 to 10% of those people will take that call to action. They'll give you between $1 to $100. And that is money that the artist can use to tour, to continue to create music. But then on the back end of the app, every individual who has purchased a piece of the IP, we share that through their social media. So now what you've done is not only do you have fans, but now you have ambassadors. If I own $10 of that song, $50 of that song, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to share it. I'm going to talk about it. I am going to put it on my playlist. And we don't really know the extent of what that ripple will look like. But we feel it'll change the dynamic of how music is shared and people's interest in what they're sharing socially.
All right. I mean, the best thing is when you hear a song on the radio or you hear a song in the club, you hear that song and you know that you own a piece of that, however small it might be, you're getting some revenue for that. That's a very good feeling. I've done that when I've had royalties on songs. And I understand if I hear a song in someone else's car, I'm walking down the street, I hear it coming out of a bar or a club, I'm getting a piece of revenue just as the artist is. That's a very strong connection that fans want to have with the artist.
Money in your pockets, as we say.
But also pride. If you could own a piece of your favorite song, the song you kissed, your wife to, your girlfriend, whatever got you through life. That's why music is so powerful. It's like a one-on-one relationship. That's why, when David Bowie passed away, people were crying. They may not have known him, but David was there through their ups and downs in their life. And if you can own a slice of that, and just having that for a lot of people, I think, will be as powerful as getting paid.
All right. So when's the upcoming ICO or token sale? Can you talk about that, the upcoming dates?
Sure. Well, it's this coming Friday. We have done a private sale in the U.S. A Reg D private sale, SAF and PPM. We closed out at that sale. We're not advertising in the U.S. for
how much
the token offering
during that private sale.
We raised about 3.5 million, 2.5, somewhere in between. I'd say 3.3 million, somewhere right around there. The price is
3.35.
Yeah, 3.35. Sorry.
All right. And so Friday, as in tomorrow, is the ICO?
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay. And one of the reasons why I liked your project is you guys are very modest. You aren't trying to raise too much money, especially in this climate, right? Your cap was only 15.
We think that we have a $15 million hard cap. We're building a real product. We were building this product before we even heard about anything called a token generating event or ICO. We had traditional investments from VCs like Binary Capital. Jonathan Tao, who's still one of our key strategic investors, has brought in some partners in Asia that are very big investors as well. So we built this as a strong business platform that was going to go for the long term. We heard about ICOs when we hired a blockchain developer and started looking into that market. We realized it's a competitive space. If we don't jump in and get the funding in this manner, we'd be waiting years and years to get to the same point we could be at, in a month and a half from now. But we have a product that we believe in, that we've already finished the UX, UI, and design phase on. We're integrating the back end to that now. We also have a team that's very strong, we feel. Robert and I have brought on another 6 people in the last week, as far as development guys, marketing guys, promotions guys that are helping us build on the artist and IP side. We've completed, like I said, the UX, UI design phase. We're looking at an MVP towards the end of the year and an actual beta in March of 2018, so in the first quarter. So we're building this as a long-term play. We're not looking to get in and make money and dump out of it. We believe that the value of this company and the value of the token in the long term are our priorities, and we want to make that work for both the fans, the artists, and the investors.
All right. So from my due diligence and doing my own homework, everything else checked out with you guys. I think it was a great project, fantastic project. The only concern I had was the early stage investors in the private sale had a huge discount. I believe 150% discount as much.
Yeah, I can speak to that. So this was a combination of equity investors, right, that also we gave them a bonus of having tokens. So it wasn't just pure, I don't want to say pure crypto investors, but there was a relationship with the investors that involved equity, and we gave the tokens almost as a bonus.
Right.
And that's for the entire set, but for a good portion.
Now, is there a vesting with those tokens?
Yeah, we have a vesting period even for our team and our staff. So if you, just like any, we were building this in a very square format. And what I mean by that is venture capital type of format. So everybody on our team has benchmarks that must be achieved for those tokens to be freed up and to be tradable. So we're very conscious about the environment that we're coming into. We're speaking to market makers to help with volatility and structure. We're very confident in our token being a utility token and the functionality that we'll have within the app. We're building an app for the real world that happens to use a blockchain middleware component that we were building. And the token is actually a worker within the app. It says who is purchasing, and it converts the currency, whether it be pesos, yuan, or dollars, into Vezt token.
Now, so what's the vesting schedule for the, private sale investors that purchase the tokens?
So for the gentlemen who own equity, we left it free and clear for them. For the employees and the people that are involved at the company level, we have, it's not set on time, but on achievable goals. So for example, completion of MVP, all the deliverables associated with that, back-end API connections, all of these events for the technology people releases a little bit of their tokens. So let's say they have 250,000 market makers to help with volatility and structure. We're very confident in our token being a utility token and the functionality that we'll have within the app. We're building an app for the real world that happens to use a blockchain middleware component that we were building. And the token is actually a worker within the app. It says who is purchasing, and it converts the currency, whether it be pesos, yuan, or dollars, into Vezt token.
Now, so what's the vesting schedule for the, private sale investors that purchase the tokens?
So for the gentlemen who own equity, we left it free and clear for them. For the employees and the people that are involved at the company level, we have, it's not set on time, but on achievable goals. So for example, completion of MVP, all the deliverables associated with that, back-end API connections, all of these events for the technology people releases a little bit of their tokens. So let's say they have 250,000 tokens. They'll be, and we're going to release what that actually looks like in numbers. It drops a little piece available to them into their wallet as they achieve their goals.
Now, I can see that being a concern for investors if 3.5 million is not locked up, because they could just easily dump that the first day on the exchange the first week and basically push the price down.
So we understand that. I mean, we've had conversations with our investors. We're not viewing this, or at least our core group isn't viewing this as a trading opportunity. These were individuals who were interested in giving us capital from the beginning and had been around from the beginning, which is a long-term timeline horizon.
But with ICOs, it happens a lot. So, but all right. Anyway, let's open the floor up to questions.
Sure.
Hey guys, thanks for joining. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. All right, first question is, let's see here. What are the token metrics? Okay, I guess they're asking, what's your token supply? What's the token price? I did hear there was a ladder or tiered token price. Can you kind of go over that?
So we've capped the tokens at 125 million tokens, period. Again, a $15 million hard cap on US dollar equivalent. And we have tiers that start at 35 cents, 45 cents, 55 cents, 65 cents, 75 cents, and 85 cents. And the tiers are broken down on our site. If you go to www.dect.co, you'll be able to see exactly how many tokens per tier and the equivalents there.
Now, I guess, how do the tiers qualify? Is that based on when somebody invests? Is it part of the pre-sale or part of the just different dates? How's that?
The pre-sale's closed. The pre-sale is a US only accredited pre-sale. That's closed and completed. The public sale again starts November 4th at 4 a.m. UTC. And then what's happening is as those tiers get filled, it's not time-based, it's quantity-based.
Quantity-based?
So
okay.
Once we see the quantity of tokens fill, it'll go on to the next tier automatically.
Now,
We've also put in place. Sorry, go ahead.
so once let's say somebody sends in their Ether during the token sale, are the tokens locked up? Is there a token lockup period, or do they get the tokens immediately?
For the public sale, we'll have a token audit and then a release date for the tokens, which will be available in your wallet. The tokens themselves can also be used on the platform to acquire IP. We put together an incentive program to have people, gravitate to using the Vezt token versus fiat currency and other cryptocurrencies by waiving all fees associated with the Vezt token. So there's no, it's usually a 5% charge for music acquisition, 5% charge on royalties coming back out. And we feel like the way to properly educate people within the platform is to show them the advantage of using that specific cryptocurrency and contract. So, we look at it as a finite number of tokens as a utility with unlimited numbers of IP and users, which will hopefully create scarcity for the token and additional use within the platform. We're excited about the premise of seeing everything function in the real world because there's nobody else doing what we're looking at doing for music and for the ledger, which is basically the rights holders.
Okay.
And again, one of our primary concerns is long-term token value, obviously the value of the company. So we did want to keep it very conservative. We didn't say, hey, we're going to raise $200 million. We have caps in place. We do think that every time we announce new artists, new songs coming on board, that's another event that will generate interest and hopefully onboards a lot more artists and their fan bases. And again, each artist has hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands or even millions of fans. And those are potential users to our platform. So if an artist comes on and says, I'm hitting my 10 million user base, as Robert mentioned before, if we even got 5 to 10% of those to convert into actual IP sales, that we think will keep that token value growing and static and actually keeping value across the long term versus having people come in and churn and burn.
All right. So next question is: are there any celebrities you're talking to right now?
That's all we've been doing. So I'm only laughing because artists are very interesting people all the way around. So yes, we have some announcements in the horizon. We acquired, part of a catalog for some song rights. We just had a really good meeting with the manager for will.i.am, and he's going to be joining the advisory board, bringing on some very talented artists to join the platform. Everybody else, we are going to release names and information shortly. I'd love to kind of I'm biting at the bits to tell you, but tell me.
Give them one. You can tell them.
Give us one nugget.
Okay. I'll let Steve tell you. We're working with Dre, who's a platinum selling producer and artist, has a number 7 hit
Dr.
song
Dre?
out.
Or something?
No, not Dr. Dre. Coolio and Dre, they work with DJ Khaled. He's going to be an advisor as well as putting his original songs and content on the platform. We have, we have an advisory position open for. I want to say it, but I can't say it. Who's going to be joining the company and helping us out?
All right.
Until tomorrow, because we have content that's being created literally today for that release. and as badly as I want to, we have good names. I'm just going to leave it at that. We're happy to share that very, very, very soon.
All right. So next question is, how will a fan liquidate their song ownership?
Well, that's a very good question. If you choose not to hold it to term, you own those rights, and you can place them back on the platform for that term. So all of the rights that are on the platform can be sold in perpetuity or in what's called limited time frames, which are called reversals, right? Steve, what's reversions, right? So 3, 5, 10-year buckets that are available. That means that those rights come back to the artist. If you purchase those and you have them for 3 years, and year 1 you decide that you would like to put them on the platform, you can put them on the platform for the amount of time that's remaining.
So is there a secondary exchange on the platform where people can transfer ownership?
Anybody that owns rights can sell rights, and we're actually having discussions as late as a minute ago or 5 minutes ago before this started, where we think if owners want to transfer internally using the Vezt token, again, at no fee. So what we're doing is incentivizing people to actually use the token in a utility position as an internal currency to sell their IP if they have it. So if Robert bought 10% of a song and I asked him, hey, can I buy 5% of that from you? He can make that market for me and allow me to buy into that. So once you have ownership of the rights, you can sell those back to anybody you'd like.
Yeah. The interesting thing about that, let's say you bought into a song and it becomes the summer anthem, and now the song is, being played everywhere. Well, you still have those rights. You still have that ownership. And you can, at a higher market price, depending on what the statistics and the collections say about it, you can put those rights back out on the market. What's really going to be interesting is how advertisers are going to look at the product, not only the collection of data to their brand, but also the ability to purchase a piece of a song that you're going to put in a commercial. So if you're Coca-Cola and you're going to put a song in your new Coca-Cola commercial, now it's not only an expense, there's an opportunity to participate on the royalty stream that song may create.
All right.
And we think that about 20% of our investor base will be people that are music professionals, in other words, soundtrack supervisors, music supervisors, brands, people that actually can take the song and do something with it and increase the value of that, right? So there will be music professionals that are interested in labels we've spoken to already are looking at using this as a farm team. So they know that they can put small pieces of money in play to own actual IP. So instead of guessing, they can actually participate with an artist. If that artist does very well, maybe they bring them up to the next level. The other 80% of investors we think will be buying from an emotional point where they just want to buy a piece of their favorite song. That's a very strong proposition for them to be able to share with their favorite artist, their favorite song, say, hey, I own a little piece of that song. I don't care if it earns me $1 or $1 million. I want to own a piece of it because it means something to me.
All right, so somebody's saying, okay, it's a hardball here. Tokens are going to be 50% cheaper when they hit the exchange because the initial investors will be taking profits, basically. So what's your thought on that?
Well, I mean, listen, whenever a company goes public, some people step out. Sorry, my background, I've been trading since I was 24 and ran trading floors. And yes, that does happen to some degree. But I would be remiss to think that we're going to have a 50% drop. I think that what differentiates us is we're building a real-life product that will have real-life value. The tokens that are utilized are a necessary piece of that machine, right? So if you're living in a city and there's 2 cranes and there's 2 new buildings being built, well, those cranes can be rented for a little bit of money. But if you have 100 buildings and those 2 cranes are still there for construction, those cranes are now a necessary utility to continue to build. We personally believe that the people that are involved in the token usage and the utilization of the token will be very pleasantly surprised with what this app ends up doing, both for their token value and for their token use. Keep in mind, there's an underpinning asset that those tokens can buy into.
Right.
Yeah,
but I don't think people have any doubts about the token or the project. I think it's just more of, maybe it's better to get in once the initial investors who got in at a very big discount, 150% off, take their initial profits. Right? This is just kind of being a savvy ICO investor, right?
I mean, there's always a trade. I mean, with every asset, I understand that. I just personally wouldn't bet on that because we're bringing in market makers. We're really putting a lot of effort and a lot of time, energy into proper use. keep in mind there's an underpinning asset that those tokens can buy into.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think people have any doubts about the token or the project. I think it's just more of, maybe it's better to get in once the initial investors who got in at a very big discount, 150% off, take their initial profits. Right? This is just kind of being a savvy ICO investor, right?
I mean, there's always a trade. I mean, with every asset, I understand that. I just personally wouldn't bet on that because we're bringing in market makers. We're really putting a lot of effort and a lot of time, energy into properly securing the market when we launch. Right. So is there enough?
The real question is, if they think they should get out at 85 cents, but if they really believe in this project, wouldn't they rather hold on to $1, $5, $10, $20? I mean, to me, that's where the multiples are. They could, sure, anybody could sell out immediately when it hits an exchange. Every ICO is like that. Every IPO is like that, right? The problem is, how long do you hold on to it if it's a value proposition? So if we are successful in building the underlying company to the strength that we think we're going to build it to, you're going to want to hold on to that token well beyond 85 cents or $1 or $5. I mean, we're looking at growing this for years and years and bringing on millions of IP pieces over that time period. So if you think you want to sell out and get a 5x or a 10x or a 20x, that's okay. We're looking at much, much longer term periods with a much, much higher rate of return.
And I want to make a point. I mean, the initial pre-sale was done when Bitcoin was 4,000 or less. So the private sale, there's not that much of a bonus. Is what I'm trying to say.
150% is a pretty big bonus for ICO.
Yeah, but Bitcoin's continuing to run and eradicating some of that. So what I'm saying is that yes, I agree. There is a decent bonus involved in that, but we also have a group of investors that have been involved with the company, long-term vision in the equity side, as well as long-term vision into what we're building. At the end of the day, the best way that we can protect your token value is by doing our job right, meeting our goals, and building a real-world platform. I understand the concept of wanting to tokenize everything.
Right. I mean, so I guess the bonus isn't really the issue. It's the fact there is no lockup or vesting period with the bonuses. Right. So for
the employees, yes.
Right. Yeah. But
for
the concern is not the employees; it's the investors. Right. So, for example, if the tokens were locked up for 3 to 6 months, that would give investors more confidence. Right. But because there is no lockup with those tokens, right? That's where there's that concern, right, from the audience and also from me as well. But anyway, so next question is, any feedback from record companies, if not the big ones, the indie labels?
Sure. I had conversations with Steve Berman at Interscope, Greg Mertz at Warner Brothers, and I've got relationships at pretty much every major label. They are looking at this initially as a farm system, so they can actually buy into smaller pieces of IP from artists they're interested in signing, but maybe don't want to make the full commitment. So it gives them a chance to test the waters, gives them a chance to put a little bit of funding in place. The artist gets the benefit immediately, obviously, and if the label can do something with it or they see potential growth, they will sign them for further use. But the labels are looking at this as another resource instead of having to fly a band out from New York to LA or back and forth and spend that kind of money. They could take that money and buy a piece of that song initially, run it through their system and see what they can do with it, and if it gains traction, they already have an ownership stake. So they look at this as a positive resource, at least the labels I've spoken to so far.
All right. Okay, next question is, will it be difficult to get established artists on board? A similar-ish company, Celiband, had a few issues. Have you guys heard of them?
Well, I'll start by saying most of those companies are working on collection and how to provide collection for artists away from either PROs and different services. What we're doing that's very different, and I think what is going to be very revolutionary, is you're going to get money. And as an artist, once an artist sees another artist, getting paid for providing less IP, it's going to be a floodgate. I mean, you have to understand the current structure takes 85, 90%, 50% of your touring, 50% of your merchandise, right? And then takes a big chunk of everything else. Once we get a couple of artists on board, which we're already speaking with, they share that proof of concept. The question isn't going to be, how are you going to get artists on board? The question is going to be, do we have the proper staff and ability to onboard everybody as quickly as they're going to want to be onboarded.
And for someone who's worked with artists for pretty much 20 years in my career, I haven't met a single artist that doesn't want more money. Every single one of them has expressed to me very directly they could use more money, they want more money, they want other revenue sources. So when something like this comes up where they don't have to sell a t-shirt or they don't have to sell a bottle of vodka, they can actually sell music, which is the work that they do, which is their lifeblood and their career. That resonates. And we've had, in the last 3 or 4 weeks, amazing conversations with A-list artists that are very close to understanding this platform. The platform doesn't exist at this point, so there's nothing to put them on, but they are very interested, as well as producers comes up where they don't have to sell a t-shirt or they don't have to sell a bottle of vodka. They can actually sell music, which is the work that they do, which is their lifeblood and their career. That resonates. And we've had, in the last 3 or 4 weeks, amazing conversations with A-list artists that are very close to understanding this platform. The platform doesn't exist at this point, so there's nothing to put them on, but they are very interested, as well as producers, co-writers, lyricists, other people that are the unsung heroes of each and every song that you hear on the radio. It's not just one person on the vocal booth. There's a plethora of people that are involved to bring that song to your ears. And those people are very interested because they generally don't have any way to monetize those rights. If you're the lead singer of the band or you're the singer-songwriter that everybody knows, yeah, you can go up and do a commercial, you can make a lot of money doing a live performance. If you're the co-writer that owns 20% of that song, you can't get a publishing deal with 20% of one song. You can't go get a TV commercial because no one knows who you are. And there's no other way for you to actually monetize that. So this platform gives those people a voice, gives them a way to actually collect and change the income flow that they're going to have, and provides another option for them that they don't have at this point to earn more money.
All right. So next question is, how is this different from Opus? I think it's just like 2 different platforms. Have you guys heard of Opus?
I heard about it this morning for about 1 second. Someone asked me.
So Opus is more like a Spotify on a blockchain that's being built by consensus.
Okay, so it's more of a distribution system.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think they're the same. All right.
We're focused on the front end. We're focused on bringing revenue into artists. And there's 50 different platforms for distribution and streaming. They're great. They're all out there, and they will stream your songs and stream catalogs of songs forever. Nobody is out there taking one little piece of a song and allowing an artist to go directly to their fan and saying, I'd like to make this piece available to you for whatever money you want to put in. Right? And the way that you purchase on our platform is just like buying Bitcoin or Ethereum. You don't have to buy 1 Bitcoin or 5 Bitcoin. You could buy $1 or $50 or $5,000 worth of Bitcoin and get a fraction of that investment in a fraction, right? It'll say you own 0.53 Bitcoin. So it's the same way. If an artist puts up a piece of their song for $10,000, nobody has to come up with $10,000, but someone can put in $10 and get a slice, or $100 and get a bigger slice, or $1,000 and get even a bigger slice. So it's up to the fan to determine what they want to put in. They get the proportional fraction of that share the artist makes available.
All right. So next question is, do you have any artists on board? If so, can you share them? I think you shared some of them, but I guess they want more names.
Yeah, currently we have pieces of songs that we've acquired, and we have artist ambassadors that we have coming on board, but we have what's scheduled for release dates, and we're actually creating content around those. And we want the power of that surprise and that artist and the content that we're making to resonate. But we'll be releasing that shortly.
Okay.
I really want to be able to tell you, but I can't tell you yet.
All right. Yeah. So next question is, how is this different from Music Coin? Because that I've not heard of. Have you guys heard of that, Music Coin?
No. Well, no. I mean, and I think most of these are ledgers that allow collections of royalties and have the artist contracts embedded within these tokens. Where the key that I think that's really important to differentiate here is that we're bringing music to IP creators. We're bringing money to IP creators. So you're able to literally finance your production, your video shoot, your PR, all of these different things that you used to literally have to borrow and pay egregiously with the royalty rights. I mean, some of these contracts would embed an artist for
Music Coin.
No. Well, no, I mean, and I think most of these are ledgers that allow collections of royalties and have the artist contracts embedded within these tokens. Where the key that I think that's really important to differentiate here is that we're bringing music to IP creators. I mean, we're bringing money to IP creators. So you're able to literally finance your production, your video shoot, your PR, all of these different things that you used to literally have to borrow and pay egregiously with the royalty rights. I mean, some of these contracts would embed an artist for 7 years, 85% of anything that they would generate. These are very egregious terms, right? And we're looking to disenfranchise that. We're looking to change that entire structure.
And we've seen some other platforms that operate with what we're calling a walled garden. So they say if you put your song up inside of our ecosystem, when somebody comes into our ecosystem to buy the song, you'll get paid. I mean, that's nice, but that ecosystem is a tiny, tiny piece of what's out there. We're trying to operate in the real world. We're going to take advantage of existing payment systems like PROs and publishing companies and record labels that own those rights, that have been collecting those royalties for the last 60 years. So it's nice to have a small ecosystem where somebody can find something, buy it, and get paid within that small ecosystem, but we're building our platform to work in the existing real world royalty collections that happen right now. So anybody from the largest existing artist to this newest developing artist can participate on equal terms.
All right. So next question is, how are these famous people going to advise except for slurping up money from ICO investors? What do they bring to the table?
What are artists going to advise?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
so I guess the artists who are coming onto the team as advisors, what exactly are they going to advise about?
Well, we're a music platform, right? So our build-up process that is as important on the artist use as it is on the buyer. So we're creating a marketplace for artists where artists can feel valued. So everything from the experience for them to get onto the platform, what would they like to see? What are artists going to advise?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
so I guess the artists who are coming onto the team as advisors, what exactly are they going to advise about?
Well, we're a music platform, right? So we're creating a marketplace for artists where artists can feel valued. So everything from the experience for them to get onto the platform, what would they like to see? What would their producers like to see? What's the easiest way to collect their information from ASCAP and upload it? What is the best approach through their social media? Like, how can we work with artists to tool and tweak that? I mean, we have an entire build-up process that is as important on the artist use as it is on the buyer. So for you as a buyer, we want to know how you would like to see this app work. Is this flowing? Is it intuitive? For the artist and the artist camp, we need to have the same thing. And it's not always the artist directly. It's usually like, here, Bob, work for me. Make sure my song gets on there, right? We have to make sure that Bob knows how to onboard that properly. So it's everything from the high-level artist gives it to someone else to the kid who just made some music at home and is about to place it on SoundCloud that needs to be able to utilize that. And these are all very intuitive things. And we're talking to everybody that's a piece of that.
I'll give you a good example. We had dinner with an amazing artist named Macy Gray last night. Right? She was very concerned about the user experience. How does a fan on board? How does a fan understand this process of investment? Is it something that they can understand? So, again, she's not technically on board as an advisor to our company, but it was something that we were touching base with her and asking what her needs were. What kind of concerns did she have as an artist to help us build this so that it's artist-friendly, fan-friendly? She was very concerned about her fan base. So I want to make sure my fans understand how to use this and use it properly. And hearing that from an artist really connects with us. I mean, I've represented artists for, like I said, about 20 years. I've always been on the artist side. And we want to make this the easiest, most secure, robust, simplest platform for fans and artists to use. And have input from someone that's a successful artist like that is very important to us.
All right. So next question is, do you get a dividend on the song rights you own? Okay, I'm not sure.
So you get a royalty just like it's paid now. So if you own a song that's generating $10,000 a year and you own 10% of that song, then you're getting $1,000 a year. Those are monies that already exist in the ecosystem of music around the world. They're collected by PROs, performing rights organizations, in 140 different countries, and companies like Sony Music, UMG, BMG, all the publishing companies, and all the record labels collect income based on the usage of that music. So if you buy a share, you would get a proportional, the same exact fraction as whatever income comes in. So again, if $10,000 comes in and you own 10%, you would get $1,000.
All right, so how do you guys do that or make those payments without becoming a security?
Well, it's a royalty stream, it's a royalty stream in a system that already exists. Publishers are already providing this for rights holders. What we're doing is streamlining the process, right? So the difference is it's a finished product. Like I'm buying a painting, I'm buying a script. If you're having something made, if you're saying, you know what, I'm going to give you money to make an album, and I'm going to attempt to participate in that, that's a different product. That's a whole different ballgame. You're buying IP that someone has created.
So publishing companies like Sony ATV, BMG, Universal Music Group, Warner Chappell, these are established companies that have been in business for more than 50 years each. They are doing the same type of thing, except they're buying massive catalogs of songs, and they're taking their royalties in, and that's not considered a security. So what's happening here is instead of an institutional company like Sony, we're using almost like crowdsourcing, right? The fans or other interested parties can invest in that song IP, the same song IP that's available to Sony or Universal or Warner Chappell. And any proceeds, any royalties that come from the ownership of that IP gets paid back to them. That's not a security.
All right.
It's just ownership of IP rights.
All right. Hey guys, thanks for joining. If you like the video, thumbs up. All right, so next question is, okay, are there any artists affiliated with Tidal involved in this?
Are there any artists affiliated with Tidal?
Yeah.
We don't know all the artists.
I guess it's
I don't know all the artists that are affiliated with Tidal. It's like saying, anybody on iTunes in this?
No, I mean,
That's a loaded question.
I guess he's asking like the artists who were early investors in Tidal, like the Jay-Z's, the Kanye's. I think they're...
No, I mean, most of our money that we raised originally was from tech entrepreneur, venture funds. We really didn't go in that direction because we weren't looking at building something for streaming. We were really building something. I'm sorry, there's a fire alarm. Please excuse whatever noise you're hearing in the background. So the short answer is no. We don't have any large artist investment. We just have large technology investment, which is, in my mind, as good if not better. They have a really keen eye for what they feel is going to be disruptive in the technology space.
And I think a lot of artists are looking at this as a way to monetize their IP versus an investment vehicle. Although we did have a very good meeting this morning, as Robert, I think, mentioned earlier, with a very tech-oriented,
keen eye for what they feel is going to be disruptive in the technology space.